what are you trying to put in place, like to bring forth the youth empowerment, like at the forefront of this committee?
Okay, you see, as I've said earlier, we have received a lot of goodwill. We went for a particular program last week, and we met with the DG Smedan, DG SEC, the director of Nigeria Youth Academy, and many other MDS. And they have given us their weights that we should come up with anything that will impact on the youth. They are willing and ready to partner
support
with us. If a medical doctor friend met me, he sent me a proposal of how Nigerian youth will benefit from medical outreaches and what have you. So, and we are just like 2 weeks old. So all these things are where we have to get prepared, face them at once. We already have our working plan, which is subject to approval by members of the IMC. So once we roll out those programs, I'm telling you, Nigerian youth will surely know that within this 1 year, they will benefit a lot. They will bring a lot of programs that will impact directly on the lives of Nigerian youth.
Finally, as your 1 year mandate run its course, what would success look like for you? And would you like this interim committee to be remembered in the history of Nigerian youth leadership?
Definitely. People are saying 1 year, 1 year. For us at the committee, we will try as much as we can not to even reach 1 year. So that by 6 months, 7 months, if we're able to carry out our assignments, before then, we'll go back to our normal engagement out there.
And what is that normal engagement?
All of us have our work, all members of the committee. Like me, I'm a private legal practitioner and also a law teacher. And some of the members are also classroom lecturers in various institutions. Others are in, we all have what we are doing.
all have what you're doing, exactly.
Yes. So our prayer is, let us carry out this mandate. We know it's not an easy task.
It's not.
It's not an easy task, but we seek the cooperation of all Nigerian youth so that we achieve this mandate and hand over a strong and united youth council for Nigerians.
I'm 100% sure, like, the factions will watch this. I would love you to, like, pass a message for unity, peace, and progress in a minute.
As I've said earlier, we have no enemies. Faction, whichever one you come from, I do not know any of the faction leaders personally. Personally, I have never had contact with any of them at any time, anywhere. So each and every one of the factions belong to us. Let us come together and set the record straight and move on.
We do something in S24. It's called rapid fire. I don't want to put you on a hot spot, but I'll ask you 3 questions, and you must answer it.
What if I don't have an answer?
No, you definitely look for an answer. It's definitely...
You know, in court, you answer yes or no.
Yeah. So here, you will answer, you pick one out of it. Okay. Politics or business?
Politics.
Why?
It covers everything.
How does politics cover business, Barrister?
If we don't have nice policies made by politicians, then
I see what you did here. You're using your law on me. Election or appointment?
Elections.
Election or appointment?
Election.
Election or appointment?
Election.
Okay, I see what you did here. Thank you so much for watching Future Minds. You had a conversation around NYCN and the interim committee that has been appointed by the federal government. And one of the invention is to control controversy within the NYCN. We are youths. We are trying to see how we can position ourselves at the forefront of leadership in the country. But the way things are going in NYCN, I don't want to say I'm not seeing a brighter future for the youth. We just have to put it at the back of our mind, like we must bring in unity. We must understand that we need peace, and progress must be something we are looking forward to. That is one thing that will keep us going, and that is something that will make sure the youth are always remembered in governance. This is S24 TV. My name remains Samira Osman Adam. Thank you for watching.
Hello, my name is John Coster, founder of the Conflict Memory Education Centre, an independent museum based in Leicester, United Kingdom. My vision was to create 10 documentary archives that focus on recent wars and periods of political violence. Each one tells human stories behind global events that continue to shape our world. The aim is educational, offering material that helps people understand the lived experience of those affected by conflict and how these experiences connect to wider historical and political developments. The Conflict Memory Education Centre supports both formal and informal education. All material is made available for use in workshops, academic courses and exhibitions. Through film, photography, audio recordings and new media, we open conversations about complex histories and their ongoing relevance. In this short explainer video, I'd like to introduce our latest archive, Palam, which means bridge in both Sinhalese and Tamil. Palam explores the civil war in Sri Lanka and its long aftermath, documenting personal stories of survival, loss, and the search for reconciliation. It begins by examining the historical and political roots of the conflict, including colonial legacies, post-independent tensions, and the rise of Tamil militancy. It then traces the course of the 26-year civil war, from the violence of Black July in 1983 to the war's final stages in 2009, through the voices of civilians who lived through it. The archive also addresses atrocity, accountability, and human rights, investigating the issue of missing persons and the long struggle for truth and justice. Finally, it considers the aftermath and reconstruction period, documenting the human cost of displacement, the challenges of rebuilding, and the ongoing impact on Sri Lankan society. Through these themes, Palam reflects on how individuals and communities continue to live with the memories of war and how the act of remembering itself becomes part of healing. By developing these archives, the Conflict Memory Education Centre documents conflict from a community perspective. Each archive is a collaborative effort and remains open to further contributions and partnerships. So far, we've created 5 archives: Afghanistan, Iraq, Ukraine, Chechnya, and one here in Nigeria called Hadari, or Dark Cloud, in partnership with S24 Television. Also, by the end of the year, we'll be launching 4 additional archives: Pakistan, Cambodia, Rwanda, and Latin America. If you'd like to contribute or collaborate, please get in touch. Thank you for watching.
Do you remember Stella Obasanjo? She was Nigeria's first lady and the wife of former President Olusegun Obasanjo. In 2005, she died in Spain after complications from cosmetic surgery at a private clinic in Marbella. A Spanish court later convicted a surgeon in connection with the case, citing medical negligence, a reminder that surgical outcomes depend heavily on professional standards, proper monitoring, and ethical medical practice. But this conversation is bigger than one person. Every year, millions of people around the world undergo cosmetic procedure such as liposuction, tummy tucks, Brazilian butt lift, and breast augmentations. Some individuals pursue these surgeries for legitimate health or reconstructive reasons after significant weight loss, childbirth, injury, or to correct medical conditions. However, a large portion of cosmetic surgery today is driven by aesthetic and fashion, the desire to match trendy body types popularized by celebrities, influencers, and social media culture. In today's entertainment industry, cosmetic enhancement can feel less like a personal choice and more like an unspoken requirement. Many celebrities appear to go to extreme lengths to achieve exaggerated curves, ultra slim waists, sculpted jawlines, or ageless skin. In some cycles, it can seem as though you cannot compete, trend, or remain visible without upgrading your appearance. For some public figures, transformation becomes part of branding, a marketing strategy that fuels attention, engagement, and relevance. Dramatic before and after reviews often generate headlines, sponsorship, and social media buzz. The danger is that these highly curated images set unrealistic standards for everyday people. What is often presented as natural beauty may involve multiple procedures, strict maintenance, editing, lightning, and filters. The full story, the risk, the recovery pain, the complications, the revision is rarely shared as loudly as the glamorized results. The pressure behind this decision is powerful. Beauty standards shift quickly, but the emotional drive to keep up remains constant. Social media amplifies surgical enhanced bodies without transparency about maintenance, medical supervision, or digital alteration. Beauty is diverse. Trends fade. Surgical complications can last a lifetime. Health should never be sacrificed for visibility, validation, or virality.
A new tech frontier is emerging, and it's not Silicon Valley, it's Africa. Across the continent, startups are solving problems that global giants ignored. In 2024 alone, African startups raised over $3.5 billion, defying global venture slowdowns. Venture capital funding grew by 14% last year, led by fintech, logistics, and clean energy innovators. In Nigeria, digital payments are transforming commerce. In Kenya, mobile money now serves over 90% of adults. In Rwanda, drones deliver blood to remote hospitals. It's a tech boom built on necessity, not luxury, but challenges remain. Only 43% of Africans have internet access, and unreliable power still stalls progress. Global investors are watching, but they are also cautious, calling for better regulations and infrastructure stability. Still, there's a quiet revolution on the continent, and it's not powered by oil or aid, but by imagination. The question is no longer whether Africa can innovate, it's whether the world is ready for Africa's innovation.
Hello and welcome to Creative Pulse on S24 Television, where we celebrate the thinkers, dreamers, and doers in the creative industry and its future. Today, our spotlight is on a young creative whose journey proves that art and activism can coexist beautifully. We're having Ali Mamalawan, whose pen name is Ali Lawan, here in the studio today. And let me say, we're diving into what took Ali Lawan to the creative world and what was his inspiration. Ali, thank you for coming and welcome to Creative Pulse. It's a pleasure having you here.
Thank you for having me.
I am very sure viewers will love to know who Ali Lawan is and what he does.
My name is Ali Malon. I am a writer, an advocate, and sometimes spoken word artist. I studied accounting at Scala University, Nigeria, and I'm into I'm into leadership. I'm a 2024 LMI fellow and a global shaper. So that's pretty much.
Okay, he studied accounting. He's a spoken word artist, a writer, an activist, and a youth leader. If you listen, he mentioned he was a fellow of the Legislative Mentorship Initiative. If I could recall, he served as a clerk in your parliament.
That's correct.
That's 2024?
2024,
Exactly. Thank you for coming. Let's go deep into what you do and your journey. You launched your debut novel the day you were graduating.
Yes.
It's both symbolic and like, let me say, inspiring. But like, would love to know what made you have that thought that, okay, I'm graduating today, let me release this book today. And if I am sure, the name of the book is Tears on a Red Rose. Aye, exactly. So like, what was your inspiration? What made you think this is the right time for me to release that book? What was going on in your mind on that day, and how did the moment shape your creative journey?
Okay, so firstly, the inspiration of the book was a trip. We had come to Abuja with my family, and it was New Year, and it was the first time, a boy from Yusufari and then living in Kano coming to Abuja for New Year, and there was fireworks. So we were all staying up late, to watch the fireworks, and I I remember I was writing in an exercise book then. It wasn't even a laptop. I wanted to write a book about family, and it somehow ended up being about two sisters who just went on a roller coaster journey to find each other. And I can say that the timing for the book itself, the plan for publishing the book, it was supposed to come earlier than
Your
the
graduation.
graduation, because I wrote the book in JSS3, so it took 3 years between finishing the book and actually publishing the book. I remember the plan for having it launched on my graduation was actually suggested by one of my teachers, Mr. Shaw, my literature teacher. I showed him the book. He was so excited, and he was like, "We have to launch the book here in the school on the graduation
They
day." And I was
cannot
like,
allow that cool talent to leave the school premises. And if I can say, you've told us the inspiration behind Tears on a Red Rose. How do you see storytelling as a tool for social or political change? As a young activist or a young leader?
I think storytelling is present in almost everything we do in the political space, climate change. We just have different forms, and people struggle to understand certain forms of it. But when you come down to art and literature and that kind of storytelling, it's something that a lot of people can connect with. It's kind of like social media, there are billions of people on social media because, everyone
Yeah.
knows how to operate a phone and handles notifications and etc. So when a lot of people connect with something, it automatically becomes a platform that can be used to shape their lives and push policies and effect positive change. So I see storytelling playing a very big role in that aspect.
You move between literature, spoken word, and activism seamlessly. Like sometimes if I see you doing something, I'll be like, oh, Ali is doing well. But how do you balance creativity with advocacy?
So it's creativity has always been a part. It has been there since I was young, and I do understand the sometimes you get. I think the term for it is there's really no balance. Balance is a myth. So sometimes it all depends on the time. Sometimes you're in the creative space, sometimes you're high on muse and you're writing, sometimes advocacy calls you and you are at a boy child conference or you're at a global shaper meeting. So I think you just have to sometimes go with the flow, but try to always carry along the identities that shape you and the identities that you want to present to the society and the identities that matter to your goals.
Let's go to your journey through leadership, please. You are a co-lead at Peace Nigeria. And sometimes, you know how leadership is. There is policy, there is policy engagement, there is leadership approach, and there is you as a creative. What is one thing that like influence your background in this three cycle? The leadership focus, the policy engagement, and your creative life.
So I think one thing that connects all these three is just the desire to help or make an impact, and that's present in all three. With creativity, you can do that with telling stories, with policies, with advocacy. It's all about the people. It's all about making a positive impact, and I think that's what we are trying to do in Pace Nigeria as well, especially with young people. So they are coming up and they also want to give back to their societies and create a positive impact. We are in a pivotal point in Nigeria where we really need people to give back instead of just taking. We had independence recently, and I saw quotes like, okay, what has your country done for you? The lead of Pace, yeah, my very good friend, he posted, okay, not what your country has done for you, what have
had
you
you
done?
contributed? I saw that also.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What have you contributed to your country? So I think that's what connects all these three. It's a contribution.
In every career, there is challenges. And the challenge in creative industry, I think, is something that shows on people's face. What was your challenge and like how do you navigate through it?
So one of the challenges is that, okay, people say, okay, who will read your books? People don't read, they don't take literature seriously. But I really did not put much focus on that. I think one of the main things is you have to trust in your craft. Of course, one of the major challenges you face starting off is finding an environment. So I started off the journey very lonely. I started off alone and very young. There were not many creatives around me. I was just, dabbling. But now we have a lot of platforms. Then they were very minimal. But now we have a lot of platforms. You see people, Capfest, Hibaf, FLP. The creative space is kind of booming now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that challenge is kind of being addressed in a way. And I think one of the challenges I also faced is where to go in terms of poetry and prose. So a lot of people know me as a poet, but actually I started prose first. I started prose very, very young. But now, because poetry has this spotlight and it's fast, you can write a poem in a minute, you can perform it in a few minutes, you're trending. But it takes you almost 6 years to write a book or a novel.
I know someone might be asking, what's the difference between what's the difference between poetry and a prose? I don't think. Do you mind highlighting?
Sure. So when we say prose writing, we're essentially talking about, books, novels, a story that is with characterization, with settings and everything. Poetry is a sort of compressed form of language that has brevity and has stanzas. So it can appear on a page, it can be a few lines, but it's deep, it's the kind of language that really touches you. But prose, we're talking pages of stories. So I think one of the challenges is carrying along these two and identifying myself with them.
Like, let me put it in a way, like identity crisis. Yeah, where do you want to be identified? Are you a prose writer or you're a poetry writer?
Exactly.
And I think here I want to ask you, as the creative industry is evolving, there are people you definitely have been looking up to right from childhood to date. I want you to mention 3 that you think, okay, these are the most influential people I think have shaped my path as a writer and a change maker.
Okay, so in the creative industry, it's very hard to name 3 when a lot of people have shaped you. But I would say Dr. Maria Sid would be one of the first on my list. She's the founder of FLP, and FLP happens to be one of the first platforms that I joined, and that's where I got to groom my poetry as well. She's someone I really look up to because she somehow balances between her medical career and her poetry, and she writes very, very beautifully. And I would say, I'm tempted to mention my friends. I don't want to.
No.
No friends.
No friends.
No friends. Okay. The creative industry. There's Kalb Salim. I admire Kalb Salim.
No, Kab Salim, I don't know why. He loves poems. Is he love poems, I would say. And like, I think, let me keep quiet before Kalb sue me.
Yeah, Kalb has his, I have to mention that his spoken word, Yours Sincerely, was my inspiration to getting into spoken word.
Wow.
And I told him, and he was like, wow, I didn't know. But he's someone, even beyond the creative space, he's a very influential figure, and I really look up to him. And then it's very hard to mention just three. I'm just thinking about so many other people. But yeah, I would go with Antina Siba as the third person. She's the curator of the last Cap Fest 2.0, the Kano
Yeah,
International
International
Poetry
Poetry.
Festival. And
Yeah.
Antina Siba has been doing so much for the poetry space. And she also sells books. She's a medical lab official at AKTH.
Is it a must for these creative people to be from a medical background or what? And I think one thing I would love to say is I was expecting you to mention one person, which everyone around you know who that person is. But since you did not mention, I will not be the one to say it. And you know who I am talking about exactly.
I can have a guess. She's
Yes, she is a she, so I don't want to
That's
mention
why
her
I
name.
said you have to give me more slots.
No, I don't want to give you more slot. Okay, we are part of the northern Nigeria, and we know what it means to stand out in the north in every aspect of the creative industry. How do you think the north is evolving creatively? You mentioned some earlier, but I would love you to take it in depth. Like, what is the north doing differently to the creative industry?
I think the North is bringing a lot of culture and very strength and creativity to the industry. We have a certain kind of flair in the North. I think we've seen that even from the cultural carnivals at ABU, and there's just something very, very powerful about telling our own stories, especially when they have not been in the limelight before. So we are at a point in our literature where, okay, we need stories from the North. We need to tell our own stories. And, when we talk about literature in Nigeria, the North has been kind of lagging. But the North is so rich. There's so much to tap into and so many stories to tell. Even with the recent book by Nana Sule, Not So Terrible People, how she really dabbled into the magical realism, Aljanu, and so many. There's no shortage of stories to tell in the North. So I think we are beginning to realize that, and we are having so many people coming into the space with those fresh eyes and fresh muses and fresh ideas, and just that northern flair to add to it. So we're looking forward to goals.
Recently, I don't know if you've seen it, you mentioning about saying the story of northern Nigeria differently. To be one of the social media influencers from Lagos, he came to the north, explored the north, and tell stories that we ourselves overlooked. And I think I can clearly understand with you when you say there is like a north flair, and there are so many things we can tap into and stories we can tell. You have performed on stages.
Yes.
Cafes, and the ones I don't even know about. Whenever you are on stage, there is something about audience that I noticed. Like they pay attention. Is it that you're passing a message to them, or I don't know, is there a sort of message in your poetry that you feel you are leaving young people with?
Yeah, so whenever I'm on stage, one of my most mainest goals is to really connect with the audience. I feel like there's no point stepping onto the stage and stepping off without people perceiving what you're trying to say or taking away something, even if it's just a feeling, even if it's not a natural concrete message, even if it's just a feeling, they have taken away something. So you have to give your audience something. And especially with poetry, where people usually say, okay, big words, complexity, poetry should be complex at why. But when it comes to the stage, it's really up to you, the artist, to break down and communicate with your audience. So I always want to create a poem, a piece. Whenever I'm crafting a piece, it's always about one question. Can the audience relate with this? If my answer is yes, then I think I'm good to go.
That's very powerful. So you're using it to capture us, and I think here we've got you. There is something my boss do. She call it rapid fire.
Okay.
She will ask you to choose between so many things. So here in the creative space, I'll ask you to choose. Writing. Oh, sorry, not writing. I know you will choose writing definitely. Music or movies?
Movies.
Wow. Okay. Fiction or non-fiction?
Fiction.
And I think let's go to the last part of that rapid fire. If you had to choose, between Nana Sule and Alhan Islam, who will you choose?
This one is so tough.
Yes.
So tough.
You have to choose one person. I don't want consideration, like just one person.
And I have to.
Yes, you have to choose Nana Sule or Alhan Islam.
Yeah, they're my favorite. Both of them.
No.
I'll go with Alhan.
Definitely, I know that's who you're going to be choosing. And I think it takes me to my last question. Between your civic roles, writing, and performance, how do you stay grounded and consistent in your creative process?
So the creative process is it's a whirlwind. It's a whirlwind because you can go a week writing poems every day, and then you can go a month with no muse. But I think one of the most important things to remember is your identity is always there, and the world is ready to hear you wherever you need to speak. So I think that remembering all these things keeps you grounded. And especially when you have, I think for creatives, it's important to be intentional. Being intentional, treating literature like any other project. I think that's what I learned. I cross over from my civic roles advocacy into the creative space, because the civic roles, they need planning. You know, we are still in the planning stages of pace. So they need intentionality and they need planning. So if you can bring some of that intentionality and planning into your creative process, sometimes you have to force things. You know, you can start a poem and 5 lines, you don't feel like you want to write it anymore. But sometimes you have to push. And with books as well, prose is very, very hard to keep up with. But if you can bring some of that intentionality and planning, I think it will help you be grounded.
What's next for Alila One?
Global Shapers.
I don't understand Global Shapers. Like, is there any project we should be expecting, a book or an initiative that you think is coming?
So I said Global Shapers because that's the next step in the civic aspect.
Okay.
I recently got accepted into the Abuja Hub, and we are looking forward to so many more projects. But if you're asking about literature, then you should be expecting more poetry, more prose. I'm not going to let up on either of them.
How do you handle creative block?
Creative block. So I handle them very differently for the two genres, for poetry and for prose. For poetry, I really don't have a concrete way. I actually wait for the muse. I actually really need to connect with my emotions and my environment in order to write. So when that doesn't happen, I just try to, remove that. Instead of focusing on the poetry itself, you have to remove the surrounding, the mental blocks,
Yeah.
Maybe go for a walk, maybe meet up a friend, just kind of free yourself. The words are actually inside you. There's just something perhaps that's stopping them from coming out. For prose, I don't really pay much attention to the mental sides of things, because I treat it like any other project. I just have to hit this word count, 200 words. But sometimes it doesn't work as well, and you have to treat it like poetry. You have to clear your head. So it's all about reconnecting with yourself. It's all about freeing your mind and maybe having some tea or yahuza or suya or something.
Okay, thank God you're the one that saved, not me. And I think at this point, I will say thank you very much for coming to S24 TV, and we look forward to having you to discuss more of the creative industry. At this point, I want to say thank you everyone for watching. This is Creative Pulse on S24 Television. My name is Samira Usman Aden, and I will be your host for this amazing show all the time. Thank you.
Good being here today, being able to meet everybody. Everybody's come out, made us very, very welcome wherever we've stopped. And I think it's really important that we challenge the narrative that's playing out on social media about the insecurity that's here. So tell us what the situation is here at the moment.
In fact, you have come at the right time, because all the negative narratives people are selling out there is quite different from what obtains on ground here in Basari local government area. I believe you can see this community. They are gradually coming back, which shows the community resilience, which shows workability of the peace deal reached with other groups, that we have been relations, friends, and same community. Something went wrong, now we understood what we need to do, and things have started coming back to normal. Thanks be to Almighty God, an effort of almost everybody in the society. I believe you can see it yourself. Agreement has been reached, whereby hostilities have already been ceased. People will gradually go back to their communities and look for the normal livelihoods, going back to the farm, going to the mini trades, some other skills that are locally based, so that the local economy, local peace, local development can continue from where it stopped previously. Well, you know, in Hausa, there is a saying that even tongue and teeth do get some misunderstanding. Sometimes teeth will just match the tongue. So also if you are staying in a community, even within your family, sometimes you do get something that may not go down well with the other, in the same house, the same family. So that's what it is, and it's normal to human community. It's normal to human beings. Just as peace scholars are saying, conflict is necessary, conflict is unavoidable, but can also generate chance for development as well as progress. So people have understood that being in peace is better than whatever people will continue to do otherwise. So peace has gradually returned, and people are coming back to their localities. People are picking up the pieces of their lives that were broken previously. Now you can see them very happy. See the children, see the married women here, and the husbands are here. So we too, we are all happy, and we praise the Almighty that has allowed us to reach this moment, and we are hoping for more in the nearest future.
We call them Community Watch Corps, that is CWC. They are introduced by this administration of Mr. Malan Dukko Umarada, just a year or less than a year when he was sworn in as a governor, which he has that, that's our idea for quite a long time. And when he produced these people, we have seen that there are a lot of difference for their work. We have seen a lot of progress because they were able to combat this banditry within the shortest possible time by attacking the informants, because that is the root cause of everything that happened. They are the people that report in and out, and in fact, they have to start with them. So we have seen a significant change when they started, and I think that is the architecture of what happened today, because they were phrased to the extent that they have to come and look for negotiation, and that is what we have done, and that is what we are enjoying for quite a long time now.
We've spent the last few hours in Batsari local government here in Kutsana State in northern Nigeria. We were invited to come and see what the security situation was like after interviewing the governor. I met the Honorary Commissioner for the Ministry of Internal Security and Home Affairs, and we came to Batsari to meet with members of the Community Watch Corps, a local initiative where local people are recruited in order to fight banditry locally. Now, the reason it seems to be quite successful is they're recruited from the local population, they know the area, they know how to get around. And one of the things that became really obvious today, standing in the crowd, a very warm welcome from people. Lots of people have experienced banditry, is the fact that they are amongst the local population. I could have been standing next to someone that was involved in that. I think the story that was most interesting for me was talking to a local imam who had actually been kidnapped himself by the bandits. His family had been kidnapped, his wife, his children. He'd been to pay ransom to get his children back, and then they kidnapped him again. And he actually saw one of them, unrepentant, sitting as a member of his congregation on the Friday. I thought it was important that we came here today with our colleagues to tell you what it's actually like on the streets of Batsari and Rumah, where we were visiting, People came out, going about their daily business, women, children, people going about their commerce on newly constructed roads as part of infrastructure projects. So no matter what you hear and see on social media, this is me reporting live from Batsari, John Costa for S24.